So the targeting of Hindus and other minorities and calling Shah Rukh Khan a traitor for Kolkata Knight Riders taking a Bangladesh player, Mustafizur Rahman, in the IPL is a big talking point on this broadcast. Joining me on India First is Ambassador Veena, Sikri, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh. In a moment, we hope to be joined by Saleh Ahmed, a journalist from Bangladesh. Abhijit Iyer-Mitra is a senior fellow at the IPCS, Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies. And Chandrasekhar Luthra is a senior sports journalist. He'll give us a perspective on what the sporting bodies are thinking. Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, isn't it wrong to target Shah Rukh Khan for taking Mustafizur Rahman in the Indian Premier League? If questions are to be asked, should they be asked of the government or the sporting management? Or is there merit in Sangeet Som saying Shah Rukh Khan is Indian, he must understand Indian sensitivities?
So the first thing we need to understand, I'm going to take off from where Mr. Danish Ali's clip that you played earlier. Now, remember, Mr. Danish Ali is not known for being particularly smart or salient. So, he's, excuse me, equated having Sheikh Hasina here with having Mustafizur Rahman here. Please remember, Sheikh Hasina is a refugee here. Second, if you look at Mustafizur Rahman's career trajectory, the entire career took off during Sheikh Hasina's rule, was heavily promoted by Sheikh Hasina's rule. And this is how you maintain links with other countries. Remember, throughout the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, when we did not recognize the Taliban, we were still funding the Afghan cricket team and things like that. And they've become a great bridge for us to the Taliban. You want to burn your own assets out there. People who are friendly to you, people who are doing your, publicity for you out there. How is that fair, Gaurav? So Shah Rukh Khan is actually doing us a great favor. Had the MEA or the government not wanted this, then through the MEA they would have already conveyed to the BCCI not to have any Bangladeshis. The second thing we also need to remember, Gaurav, is the fact that Bangladesh is not Pakistan. We do not deal with Pakistan the way we deal with China, different countries, different approaches. Bangladesh is also not Pakistan. Just because they have similar sounding names and they're Muslims, you can't treat them the same. Bangladesh is a whole different kettle of fish or cup of tea. I mean, I'm sorry, Bengali, we automatically go to fish. But you can't treat them the same way. Mustafizur Rahman, even his own history, if you remember, he did not go to Pakistan when he was sold to the Pakistan Cricket League. He did not go. The Bangladeshi Cricket Board itself did not let him go. He also didn't want to go to the Bangladeshi Cricket League, to the Pakistan Cricket League ultimately.
So sports a great enabler here, you say. And I want to bring in Ambassador Veena Sikri into this conversation. Give me a moment. If India did not want a Bangladeshi player, would the indication not have gone from the government, like when Pakistani players were not taken post 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, and the nation spoke in one voice that terror and sports cannot go hand in hand, Ambassador Sikri? How do you read Mustafizur Rahman being taken by KKR?
I think that you're right. I think definitely the Ministry of External Affairs would have been consulted formally or informally. And I think that the fact that Mustafizur Rahman is somebody who was a protege during the Sheikh Hasina years. And I think that after that, he also has had his own falling out with the current regime. I do not know whether he's in Dhaka or he's living outside Dhaka. Don't know all these details yet, but it's quite likely that he's no longer in Bangladesh. He may have left Bangladesh. It's quite likely. So because of all of that, I think it would be wrong to associate him with what is going on here. But I think that on this, a little bit of clarity needs to be got. Otherwise, what will happen is that while he's playing in any of these IPL matches, those will all be disrupted and so on. So I think there is need for clarity on this. And if indeed, he is going to come out and say that, look, I don't support at all the killing of the Hindus, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Christians, and so on. And also the whole, the condition of women in general in Bangladesh is very, very poor. I've just seen a report about how terribly all women are being treated. They're being forced to wear hijab. They're being questioned if they don't go in what is called as modest dress. They're being, actually teased and harassed, and it's a terrible situation. It is a very bad situation. So I think our government has very correctly called out all this situation, and has repeatedly said that we want all this to stop. I think this is absolutely inhuman what has been happening to the religious minorities, all of them, the Buddhists, the Christians, the Hindus, the Sufis, the
Oh,
Ahmadiyas.
absolutely.
Yeah,
More than
and
2,900 cases, ma'am. Give me a
yes.
moment. Let me bring in Saleh Ahmed, who's joined us from Bangladesh. Sir, welcome. As one of our guests was just pointing out, Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, India continued to nurture players from Afghanistan despite a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan in sports. It's a great bond, between countries, and especially when it's played in the right spirit. Unlike India-Pakistan, India-Bangladesh is very different. How do you see this controversy panning out? And do these hostile comments seem to indicate that there is an apprehension that Bangladesh could go the Pakistan way if Hindus and other minorities continue to be targeted there? Mr. Saleh? Mr. Saleh Ahmed?
Thank you very much for joining me. I would like to, first thank you all for bringing such issues on your TV. I would like to continue with Ms. Veena Sikri, what she just, stated. You know, the cricket and sports should not have any boundary. Any sports is is universal. No government should interfere in sports and other things, and it's all everyone should work to unite every people in terms of sports. And I'm fully agreed with what Ms. Bina Sikri said few minutes back. And then another point, you said that, and today's topic is, Hindus are being targeted here. I'm strongly, opposing this thing. This thing we should not, this continent's people, this our continent's people, all people are connected. Now, right now, I am in a program here. Here there is numbers and numbers and numbers of satisfied Hindus. There are even some Hindus are surrounding me and seeing me that I'm talking in your TV and stating this thing. I think this government and these politicians and the politics, they should please leave these people. Let the people be connected,
No,
people
but
to
Mr.
people.
Ahmed, let people
People
be connected. I completely agree with you, and especially India, Bangladesh. I agree with you. However, the lynching of Deepu Das, the targeting
that
of
people.
Amrit Mandal, I can give you,
Thank
and these are Bangladeshi organizations, 2,900 plus targetings of Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian minorities. You cannot have, rising radical Islamism in Bangladesh and say, let's have great people-to-people ties.
Then I should, request you to point out and to collect the other information what happening in this continent. That I am repeatedly bringing this continent. This is yes, here it is the number you have spoken just raised. This is couple of hundred times more is being happening every day in India. I'm not
That
supporting
is not
anything.
true.
I'm let me oppose
That is not
of all
true.
these things.
That is
And
a deliberate
let me point out,
misinformation. That is not true.
please let me speak.
No, but
Let me
I will
speak.
not let you
Let me
speak
speak,
lies
please.
on my show, sir. I will not let you speak lies on my
I
show.
would like to say that numbers of people has been arrested, and they arrested. The inquiry team is on, and government has declared serious punishment will be given, and very shortly, and it will not be escaped out the way the other incidents which being happening every day in this continent.
Sir,
I'm not
give
talking
me a
Bangladesh. I'm
moment.
not
Give me
talking
a
India.
moment. Mr. Luthra,
Please.
permit me 30 seconds, sir. I want to bring in Ambassador Sikri once again. Chandrasekhar
Please,
Luthra, due
please.
apologies, sir.
I like that
Ambassador
very much.
Sikri, do you agree that it's happening across the continent, whether it's Pakistan, Bangladesh, or as Mr. Saleh Ahmed says, even India?
We know what is happening in Bangladesh. That is very true. It's a matter of great concern. We know what was happening in Pakistan, and we have condemned it, and we know the relations with Pakistan. All these incidents brought it to a new low. I think in Bangladesh, we must remember that if anything happens in India, the question is how the judiciary comes on it, how they deal with it, how we, explore every avenue to solve a situation and bring it back to normalcy. But in Bangladesh today, you may say right from last August, 18 months now, it is the worst worst possible time since 1971. Even 1971 was only 9 months, and this time for 18 months, constant pressure. And I'm saying not only on the religious minorities, also on the women, also on the
Yes.
children. I mean, it's been a terrible situation. This kind of human rights violation cannot continue. And the government has promised again and again, even in the month of July, August last year, when about 500-600 incidents or more happened in a matter of weeks, then again they said, oh, yes, we are connected. But nobody got charged. They promised to deal with them. They get released immediately on bail, and nobody got charged. On the other hand, people like Chinmay Das are in jail for more than a year without any trial, without any charges. So I think this problem has to be solved. The people of Bangladesh themselves must realize that this is not a democratic structure they have today. This is a completely unconstitutional government, and they must tell them that the name of Bangladesh is being destroyed the world over because of this. I think you just cannot
The
let
name of a country, the economy of a country, the society of a country, they're all being destroyed. We'll get to Mr. Saleh Ahmed in just a moment, but Chandrasekhar Luthra, sports are actually an enabler, also an indicator of a country's foreign policy. Your reading of the targeting of Shah Rukh Khan, is it for cheap popularity? The question that I posed to Mr. Sangeet Som, or should questions actually be put to IPL, BCCI? Any word from there, sir?
Well, in 2010, I remember when the auctions were going on in Mumbai after the terror attack in Mumbai. Obviously, there was a slip that went around all the tables not to pick Pakistani players. Even then, there was no formal instructions from the Home Ministry or the Foreign Ministry. Even then, and no Pakistani were picked. Later on, it was told to everybody that because of this there were sentiments, public sentiments, so we didn't take any Pakistani players. Right now we are talking about a country which is a friendly country to India. There are lynching incidents there. There are lynching incidents in India also. There were incidents against the Christians also here. So do we say that tomorrow in 2036, if we host Olympics in Gujarat, which is a dream of Narendra Modi, we are not going to invite any Muslim country or Bangladesh or Pakistan will be selective? No, unfortunately, you are sadly wrong. And when you are talking about this player, he's one of the key players. He's a very good left arm bowler who has done great job during the 2016 IPL, where he helped Hyderabad to lift their only title. So he was not being chased by just Shah Rukh Khan. You have to understand, Shah Rukh is just a face. He is not the one who makes strategy for his team. There is a coach, there is a captain like Ajinkya Rahane, there are other mentors, scouts of the team, which helps him to, when he raises his baton for any auction, that is because he is being told by the person sitting next to him, a captain or a coach. So blaming Shah Rukh is obviously a cheap publicity. And this time, if you have to blame Gaurav, believe me, you have to blame the Home Ministry or the Jaisha or the Saikias of Assam, because BJP is controlling BCCI and ICC. There were no instructions from anywhere that you don't have to pick Bangladeshi players. He has been picked on his merit. And yes, I can understand, because he was a Bangladeshi, Bangla-speaking person. Obviously, Bengal team was chasing him. Like Delhi always chases Virat Kohli or Gautam Gambhir or Virendra Sehwag.
Fair
So
enough.
that's what
Abhijit
the sentiment.
Iyer-Mitra, but what do you make of the voices that we heard through the day that Bangladesh must know if Bangladesh goes Pakistan's way, there will be consequences. You cannot have radical Islamist dispensation, peddle Ghazwa Hind narrative, and then hope to benefit from India like some seem to be trying in Bangladesh.
So, first of all, like I said, the situations are not comparable at all. Remember the very notion of Pakistan. Let's assume this is the mean, right? In terms of identity, this is where being Bengaliness is higher. This is where Islam is higher. In the starting point for every party in Pakistan, PPP, PML, PTI is here. In Bangladesh, the BNP would be somewhere here, where Islam is almost as important as Bengaliness, but Bengaliness is here, and the Awami League is somewhere up here, where Bengaliness is much more important. That was the basis for the division of Pakistan into Bangladesh. So, that being the case, we need to understand that Jamaat never wins more than 12, 13% of the vote and things like that. The BNP flirts with soft Islamism and things. But remember, Gaurav, why is it that even after that illegal mob took over the government, 1.5 years back, why have they still not been able to hold elections? It is because the vast majority of Bangladeshis are very much pro Awami League. They are pro India, and I don't believe being pro Awami League is pro India. Sheikh Hasina was pro Bangladesh. She did not want minor irritants to get into the way of Bangladesh's progress, which is why she was pro Bangladesh. They are pro Bangladesh, they are not pro Islamist, and they are scared. The reason they are not holding elections, have not held elections, is because they're dead scared that they're going to lose the elections, and that is the reality of it today. So let us be very, very clear. Bangladesh is not Pakistan. It is never going to become Pakistan. It is not going to go that way in the foreseeable future.
Ambassador Sikri, is that also your reading? Because there appears to be a systematic effort. There were reports from Bangladesh, and you can tell us better, that they want to stop Hindu holidays in Bangladesh. You've served on ground on Bangladesh and during late Begum Khalida Zia's regime. What is your understanding of the current situation and Mr. Abhijit Iyer-Mitra's analysis?
Oh, well, I must say that we have to understand first and foremost that what happened in July, August last year was a very meticulously designed regime change operation. It was not spontaneous. There were no spontaneous students uprising. There was no revolution. Now, the regime change operation has brought the Jamaat-e-Islami to power. And they are the real power behind the throne. Mohammed Yunus is only their spokesperson or mouthpiece. So Jamaat-e-Islami in the last 18 months is, got a super fast train running to bring Islamization into Bangladesh. And they're doing it absolutely at a breakneck speed. It is true that the Awami League vote bank is still intact. In fact, maybe last July, August, because of anti-incumbency, people were angry with her. But now, after 18 months of seeing what this illegal regime is doing, there's a complete change back, and everybody's saying, Aage bhalo chilo. But still, the fact is that the elections that this regime is planning are completely one-sided. They're only allowing the Jamaat-e-Islami and the BNP to take part. I mean, maybe it's NCP, the Students' Party, which has proved itself to be completely inconsequential, is now going back and joining the Jamaat-e-Islami. So that is, I think, it's really going to be a Jamaat group versus the BNP group. In that sense, if they don't allow the Awami League to participate, then it's just a friendly fight. And second thing we have to notice is that in the last 18 months, the way in which Pakistan has reinserted itself into every equation in Bangladesh. They're going back to bring the pre-1971 days back again. And now they are perhaps on the verge of signing even a defense pact between Bangladesh and Pakistan. So these events are very worrisome. And I think Government of India has been quite rightly focusing that the elections, in order to be credible, must be free, fair, and inclusive. And I think if that inclusivity comes, then you'll have the people of Bangladesh welcoming the return to democracy. And and I think even Khalida Zia's legacy, she did fight for democracy in 1991. So I think that
But it remains to be seen whether Awami League is permitted to contest these elections, whether these are truly inclusive elections. But Chandrasekhar Luthra, T20 World Cup now starts. Though Pakistan matches will happen in Colombo, is there an apprehension over Bangladesh matches too, or all this is likely to peter out? There's a storm in a teacup?
Absolutely not. There was no such suggestions. There were no such indications which has come to BCCI or ICC. Obviously, ICC has nothing to do in this. But again, I mean, in this kind of situation. But let me tell you, cricketers are only a friendship ambassadors, and let's not reduce them to a political stooges, where our foreign minister can go and shake hands with the Pakistani Senate chief, assembly chief, and our cricketers are being told not to shake hands on the field. That was a very, very bad and ugly gesture, I would say, on the field. And in this regard also, in this particular player also, he has been picked on his merit. His records are saying everything for him. And Shah Rukh was not the only one chasing him. It was also Dhoni's team, which chased him till the very end. 9.2 crores he got.
But
and
do keep in mind, sports is also an instrument of a country's foreign policy. Whether it's the Olympic Games or any other kind, sports are always used and often used by governments to send across a message. So sports cannot be insulated from politics of the day, and nation comes first. I mean, I completely disagree. I completely disagree when they say let there be India-Pakistan bilateral cricket, because it builds bridges. You can only build bridges when a country is not a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror. Bangladesh is a different story. Pakistan is a completely different story, with due respect. But Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, is the ball now in the court of Mohammad Yunus administration, or their desperation to remain in power, especially with the Jamaat vote bank, radicalism will only increase in Bangladesh, and the worse could be in store for India-Bangladesh ties now?
I think things are going to get progressively worse till the elections in February, and then they'll probably start getting better. Now, as I understand it, the Awami League will contest as independents like the PTI did in the last rigged Pakistani election. You have to understand the Awami League's conundrum as well. If they take part in the elections, officially as the Awami League, they will be seen to be validating the entire mobocracy that removed them, which was actually a planned coup, the way Ambassador Sikri said. And it will also seem to be validating the process of the current election, which is, fruits of a poisonous tree, illegality born of illegality. So I think it is shaping out for the better, but we need to understand one thing. Mohammad Yunus, after this election, will not be coming back to Bangladesh for the next 20, 30 years, at least, for the amount of grift, graft, and outright crookedness that he has done. He has exposed himself to be a complete corrupt politicking crook, typical NGO type.
Except he could cling on to power through that referendum, or at least attempt to do that.
And Gaurav, he is so easy at it, which is why he is going to make things a lot worse. You are actually going to see attacks get a lot worse, which is why it is important we have people like Mustafizur Rahman and people who are shown to be standing with India. Now, see, I understand where some of these people are coming from in saying, oh, he should not be hired. But look at it from the Bangladeshi point of view. They would see him as a traitor, saying, how could you go stand with India, stand
or
with
at
the
least
Indian
the radical Islamists in Bangladesh would,
Ambassador
but
of Indian
not,
culture, etc.
those who know. Look, Bangladesh realizes that their progress is linked to India's progress. The fact, Ambassador Sikri, that they're flanked by India on three sides. But Ambassador Sikri, those student leaders in Bangladesh who are now distancing themselves from the regime, given this rising radicalization in Bangladesh, do you also think that the relationship is likely to nosedive in the run-up to elections? And your reading of the situation post External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's visit recently?
No, I think Dr. Jaishankar's visit was a good one. It was a very strong and good gesture. And the letter written to Tariq Rahman by Prime Minister Modi also is a very strong and good gesture. It shows that we recognize the democratic forces in Bangladesh. But it's to be noted that Dr. Jaishankar did not meet Mohammad Yunus. I think that itself was a very strong message. A lot of the other people who were there from other countries, they met Mohammad Yunus, all of them. Lined up and met Mohammad Yunus, but Dr. Jaishankar did not. And I think that itself was a strong message also, that we do not approve of what the Mohammad Yunus regime is doing, and also we blame them directly for what is happening with the law and order, with the mobocracy, with the anarchy, with the killing of the minorities, the Buddhists, the Christians, the Hindus, and the Sufis, and with the treatment of women, the way they are being treated. All that message was very strong and clear. So I think that, well, if this, I know there are many options under discussion, and we don't know quite what will turn out, but maybe if they are allowed to participate as independents and follow the Pakistan model, maybe that would work a lot, because it bring back democracy in a big way, and that's what the people of Bangladesh want. But if it is going to be just this kind of friendly fight between Jamaat-e-Islami and BNP, that will really lead, because then Mohammad Yunus, he doesn't want to leave so quickly. He wants to become president.
Exactly. He wants to become, the supreme power in Bangladesh. And I want to thank all of you for joining me here on this India First special broadcast. But I want to leave our viewers with some of these very disturbing statistics from Bangladesh. So on the 5th of August 2024, the ISKCON temple in Meherpur was vandalized. A Hindu temple was targeted. 5th of August 2024, a Kali temple was vandalized. 5th of August 2024, a Hindu councillor, Hardhan Roy, was hacked to death. 7th of August 2024, a Hindu musician, Rahul Anand's house was torched. September 6, 15-year-old Hindu boy was hacked to death by a mob. 5th November 2024, Hindus were attacked by the Bangladesh army in Chattogram. 25th November, ISKCON Hindu monk Chinmay Krishna Das arrested, remains in jail. December 18, 2025, Hindu worker Deepu Das killed over alleged blasphemy. And this is when I'm quickly going through just some of the targeting of Hindus. There's a pattern to it. It's been happening since Muhammad Yunus regime took over. Systematic targeting of minorities, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, and even Ahmadiyas and others. But we'll track that story very, very closely.